Alrighty. It is that time at last. It's the most wonderful time of the year where we get to sit back, relax, and look back at what was a wild year in just about every aspect. If I'm being real, I think 2020 was a good year for country music, especially in the mainstream. There are certain artists on this list that I never would have thought would ever make it to a list like this one here. But without rambling on, welcome to my top 20 country songs of 2020. I think I might keep a little pattern here, like 20 for 2020, 21 for 2021, etc. I don't know, just throwing it out there. Little disclaimer, I apologize if your favorite songs aren't on here. This is just my top 20, but by all means, comment below what your favorite songs from 2020 were. I would love to read them. And also, there's lots of great music that has come out in the last 2-ish weeks. Those just aren't included because they really haven't faced the test of time yet. It's crazy how much a song can grow or shrink on you in just a matter of 2 months. The only rule I gave myself was to limit each artist to one entry on the list, so afterwards I'll have honorable mentions and a separate section of honorable mentions that could have made it had it not been for this one song per artist rule. I'm so excited to start this. I'm going to stop rambling on and just get into it. And with number 20, I have Zac Brown Band with You and Islands.
Let's get back to you and Islands.
I've voiced my love for the Zac Brown Band numerous times on this channel. They're what I grew up with. Their earlier stuff reminds me of my childhood so vividly it's indescribable. So you can imagine the genuine heartbreak I felt listening to their 2019 album The Owl when it was released. It was such a dip in every musical aspect for the band, but then 2020 came along and they released 2 great songs, The Man Who Loves You the Most as well as You and Islands. You and Islands just gives me goosebumps because it feels so Zac Brown while still having a progressive feel to it. I love the arrangement of the song and how all the vocal lines cross paths throughout certain sections of the track. One of the biggest things The Owl was missing was the band. It was pop beats with Zac singing cheesy lines over it. So to hear the drummer beating his heart out, to hear Jimmy shredding on his fiddle once again, and just to hear the harmonies everywhere as well as just the choir effect they have throughout the bridge, it was just such a chills moment the first time I listened to it. It's a jam and just a moment of relief to know the Zac Brown Band still remember who they are deep down. Number 19, I have one from Clay Walker, It's Easy Goin'.
'Cause it was too easy going, she didn't think twice, hear her tell lies.
This one caught me off guard. I obviously know who Clay Walker is from songs like She Won't Be Lonely Long and Fall, but he was more relevant in the 2000s. I mean, his first album is from 1993. He released She Won't Be Lonely Long in 2010, and then 9 years later followed it up with Long Live the Cowboy, which I'd be lying if I said I've heard the entirety of because Clay just disappeared. But at some point this year, Easy Going ended up in my earbuds, and I loved it. I think Clay's vocals fit like a glove. It's a more modern approach, but still more than country. It's almost a similar vibe to the new Morgan Wallen, this ambient atmospheric sound, and I just think the warm, reverby electric guitars are so soothing. The lyrics are so simple yet so lovely. It's an easy listen about making it too easy for her to go. Overall, definitely my biggest surprise of 2020 because, at least for me, it came out of absolutely nowhere. Moving into number 18, I have Hey Moon by Randall King.
Hey moon, giving me all that I got. Hey moon, down to my last shot.
Randall King is rather new. I discovered him close to the end of 2019 with songs like She Gone and Mirror Mirror. And Hey Moon is a similar idea to Mirror Mirror, but Randall just hits the nail on the head with these longing heartbreak songs. The desperation in the lyrics is so perfectly captured by the smooth yet achy tone of his voice. It's Randall's last attempt of seeing a girl he used to be with. The lyrics and how they're delivered just perfectly captures this heartache and desperation Randall's trying to convey. I'm just quickly going to read the second and final chorus, because even the slight progression of him finally giving up on getting her back is just so touching. Hey moon, I'm giving it all that I got. Hey moon, I'm down to my last shot. And I know that it's crazy, talking to a rock in the sky. Oh, but I gotta try. Hey moon. And then we progress into the final chorus when he's given up hope and just decides to wish her well. Hey moon, if you see my little girl, would you shine your light on her world? Trust me, I know it's crazy, talking to a rock in the sky. Oh, but I gotta try. Hey moon. The smooth steel layering with the fiddle just sounds like tears rolling down a cheek. This song is just so freaking good. I'm absolutely pumped for whenever his next project comes out. Following that is Fool's Crusade by John Baumann.
I dig a hole in the base.
found John Baumann like most through his gorgeous cut on Kenny Chesney's album Gulf Moon, so when I heard he released an album, I figured why not give it a listen. And first of all, what a fantastic album. I won't say too much because you'll hear more about it in the future. That's foreshadowing, by the way. But I love Fool's Crusade, mostly for the sound. Choosing between Daylight's Burning and Fool's Crusade was a torturous task, but ultimately I went with Fool's Crusade because of the chorus. The song itself is about this man who will not stop at any measures to get his girl back. You can't stop a fool on a Fool's Crusade, but those gigantic, harmonized, almost war cry style notes in the chorus just hit you like a freaking train. I think the accompanying melody lines provided by the guitars adds a lot to the atmosphere, which is mostly dominated by the vocals and percussion, but there's not much to say other than it has one of the most powerful choruses I've heard this year. The Grandma's House style piano that opens and closes the song just really plays like bookends to the journey this track brings you on. Number 16, LA by Tim McGraw.
Guess I'm getting used to the faster pace.
Despite what I've heard, I really enjoyed Tim McGraw's new album. My review of Here on Earth was my very first video on this channel, and I really believe in some of the songs. The standout for me, however, was the opener, LA. It's this orchestral, cinematic masterpiece. The smooth guitars on top of the dreamy steel and big orchestral string sections provide such a smooth, dreamy vibe that's inescapable once you're in. I can confirm it's a real jam while you're walking along the beach on a hot August day. Like lots of Tim's new album, it has a love complex, but I think it works best on LA. The big breakout notes he hits in the chorus are so contagious and feel good. Also, for whatever reason, I just love the line, "I guess I'm getting used to the faster pace." Maybe it's because of 2020 and how we all had to slow down a little, but that lyric hits me every single time. Cinematic is the best word I can use to describe it, but a fantastic song from a mostly fantastic album. Number 15 is Martha Divine by Ashley McBryde.
Martha Divine, Martha Divine.
This track is from another album you will hear plenty about in the coming weeks, and similar to Fool's Crusade, it was hard to choose which track from this Never Will album I would put on this list, but realistically speaking, it had to be Martha Divine. It's almost more of a pop rock but country inspired tune, but it works so freaking good. It's such a perfect song coming from Ashley. Like if Kelsey Ballerini sat down and sang a song about killing her father's mistress with a freaking shovel, it would be like Bob Ross commentating a high-speed police chase in an action movie. But Ashley has such badass FU energy, it works so well. The driving tempo of this track just gets lifted to another level by the electric guitar solos that are literally everywhere on this track. Because the drums are so loud and present for the whole track, it really grabs your attention when the bridge strips down to a rimshot cymbal and acoustic guitar, which also features one of my favorite lyrical passages from this year. "Mama's an angel, my daddy isn't. Looks like a little more of him rubbed off on me than didn't." And it's just the way she skips the S sound and isn't. She's like, "Idn't." It just works so well. The music video triangle we got from this project was so much fun to follow, and this song is just a hoot of a time. It's so out there, but it did such a good job, it's hard not to include. Coming in at the number 14 spot, I have Mountain Time in Memphis by Tessy Lou Williams.
It's still mountain time in Memphis.
I had never heard of Tessy Lou Williams until her self-titled album came out earlier this year, and man, is just phenomenal. For me, the personal standout is Mountain Time in Memphis. I just absolutely love the abundance of strings and guitars. It provides so many different melody lines that cross paths and just create this amazing, almost like a guitar orchestra sound. The vocals and harmonies are so powerful, and I think Tessy has a fantastic, fantastic tone to her voice, and it's just a really pleasant song to listen to. It's light and breezy and pleasant. And lyrically, the idea of it still being mountain time in Memphis over the sky is just such a creative little twist on something. It's a fantastic listen. I highly recommend you check it out. Number 13 seems to be a bit of a fan favorite from most people. I Hope You're Happy Now by Lee Brice and Carly Pearce.
I guess you found what you were looking for.
I am yet to stumble across someone who isn't obsessed with this track. And for good reason. It's one of the strongest songs released this year. I was so happy to see how big it got, hitting number 1 and all that jazz, but it's just a great piece of music. The sassy yet wanting lyrics are so expertly delivered, but Lee really steals the show in my opinion. I knew he had a great voice, but I didn't know he could hit notes higher than the Burj Khalifa itself. The harmonies are so tight between the two of them, and the build of this song is so steady. It's just a musical clinic in every aspect. The appreciation it got was just the icing on the cake, but it's such an undeniably fantastic track. Number 12, I got Sunday Drive by Brett Eldredge.
And they were watching the world through an open window, trees lined up like dominoes.
Somebody on the country music stuff subreddit posted something about this track being one of the most beautiful songs they've heard so far in 2020 at the time, and after reading that, I couldn't not check it out. The Sunday Drive album defined the earlier parts of my summer, and don't worry, you'll hear more about it soon, but to stay on topic, the title track is just so gorgeous. This piano ballad with light strings in the background. Brett didn't write this song, but he sings it like he spent a lifetime creating and crafting it. His delivery is top-notch, and it's such a beautiful ballad about time going by, saying how as a kid you never thought you'd ever get old. It's too far away. The imagery in the lyrics of the trees being lined up like dominoes just adds so much flavor to the song, especially given when it was released. I think the line, about a world that they had always known and how it's changing, probably never going to be the same again, tugs on everyone's heartstrings a little. The whole latter half of the song when his parents have aged and he's now in the front seat is so sweet and wholesome. The circle of life is so elegantly displayed over the course of this track, and it's just so pure. The chorus has one of my personal favorite hooks from the whole year, and the absence of percussion is so crucial. It just makes the song feel like Brett just sat down at a piano and decided to take you on one of the sweetest journeys ever. You feel like you're in the backseat of the car for the entirety of this song, and I think that's what makes it so special. It puts you in a place. Number 11 is from Muscadine Bloodline, The Highway.
My eyes are red and it ain't 'cause I cried.
I have nobody but Apple Music suggestions to thank for this gem. Seeing their recent surge in popularity, it would have only been a matter of time until I stumbled across Muscadine Bloodline, but this is hands down my favorite track they've ever put out. It's from their quarantine work tapes, and it's just this beautiful iPhone recording Deanne style track that really touches me. The raw quality of the song really helps convey this feeling of heartbreak the song is about, talking about this cheating scenario, saying he'll take the highway home because she took the low road. It's one of my favorite songs to play on the guitar, and it's just so heartbreaking to listen to. The imperfections in the delivery only contributes to this aching emotion portrayed, and man, that A minor in the pre-chorus just provides such a curveball in the melodies. I'm super glad they didn't studio produce this track because I think it's perfect how it is and well worthy of the number 11 spot on my list. Kicking off the top 10, I have none other than the opening track from one of the most divisive albums this year. It's 2016 by Sam Hunt.
And I can drive 1,000 miles to your house, walking like I walked out.
I wish Sam released more tracks like this, but if I'm being honest, I didn't mind a lot of his Southside project. Are there definite duds? Totally. But there's also examples of really good pop country on there. But 2016 is a straight acoustic country ballad. I think the tone of Sam's voice is put on a pedestal here because the production, though really pleasant, sort of takes a back seat, allowing Sam to show off his voice. It's such a warm and delicate tone that works so well on a track like this. If you told me Sam Hunt would crack my top 10 in 2020, I'd call you crazy. But crazy is what has defined 2020, and this is just another example of that. Something about the idea behind this song just feels so honest. He'll take 2016 and give it back to this girl. It's a very mature song about his career and relationships and the regrets he has. He just wants to undo everything or go back in time to prevent his shortcomings from coming to light. It's such a beautiful tune, and the production is so perfect for this song. It would have been easy to throw a little snap track or poppy synths under this track, but the team didn't take the easy way out, and it paid the heck off. The arrangement of the pianos, steel, beautiful guitar picking, and incredibly soft cymbals just create such a beautiful sound when mixed as well as they were. Big thumbs up from me. Number 9 is A Rock.
Then your wheels on your bike turn to gasoline. Get your first taste of love and nicotine. Your heart gets broken. Your folks find
This Hardy project is so phenomenal, but when it came to choosing just one song to represent the album, I had to go with A Rock. And though it's a bit of an odd one out from the rest of the album stylistically, I just can't not choose it as my favorite. Yes, it's a poppier sound as opposed to the rock sound the rest of the album carried, but it's such a poetic songwriting display, it's hard to go against it. Pardi expertly takes you through the journey of one's life, with a rock being the backbone piece of imagery to ground the song. I like that it's not your standard 2-verse, 3-chorus track. It's laid out a little wonkier, but it works. Pardi's lyrics are so indirect, it's beautiful. How he creates this image of such innocence within this boy is just admirable. He so perfectly follows each stage of the character's life before closing it off when they lay you down and they write your name on a rock. Penmanship, lyricism, and songwriting at its finest. Please give it a listen if you haven't already. Number 8 is Beer Light by Jon Pardi. Beer Light is one of 2 songs Jon released as part of his Heartache Medication Deluxe album, but Beer Light just scratches that itch for me. I believe it's an electric piano that opens the track up, but whatever it is, it gives off such calming 90s vibes, and that's true for the entirety of this track. Is Jon making some massive statement or blowing you away with the content of this track? No. But it's just produced and executed so well, it had to at least crack my top 10. Jon has really skyrocketed to be one of my favorite artists, especially with his 2019 album, Heartache Medication. I've gone back to that thing so many times, it's just so good. This is just one of those songs where I don't have much to say, it's just personal taste and preference, and it's one of my favorite songs to come out all year. Number 7 is Imogene by Gabe Lee.
I struck out on the road tonight.
Now, I'm extremely new to Gabe Lee. I only found out about him after his Honky Tonk Hell album, but by far the standout for me is Imogene. I know Grady's given his 2 cents on his love for this song, but it's so deserving. The big, empty room sound of Gabe's voice just really puts you in his head. Similar to Pardi, the songwriting is just so good. Redneck leather Japanese tires is just such a better way of saying a nice car. Gabe is really good at storytelling, his voice does a great job at it. It's such a simple song and just music at its purest form. Just a great track. Number 6 is Something Lovely.
I saw something in your lonely eyes, made me feel like I just had to try.
If you're a consistent viewer of this channel, you'll know Ashley Campbell's album currently has the highest score I've dished out on this channel so far. Though it may have been a little generous, that whole project and the title track, Something Lovely, is just something lovely. The 50s slow dance vibes this song gives off are so great. I love the washed out retro effect the strings have. Though incredibly basic, the percussion is to die for. There's barely anything to it, but percussion doesn't have to be heavy to be good. It's how you use the percussion that makes it good. It's up there as some of my favorite percussion ever with songs like Pink and White and After Hours. Ashley's voice is so delicate and sweet, it's just a treat. That's how I would describe this album. It's a warm, fresh out of the oven chocolate chip cookie, and just when you think the song ends, it transitions into this instrumental finale that sounds like the introduction to a comic book hero in old cartoons. The retro style in which the violin and other stringed instruments are recorded is so nostalgic and works surprisingly well when mixed with the more modern recorded instruments. We finally made it to the top 5, and I must say, it's a real powerhouse of a top 5. Just very strong songs to end this list off. And we're kicking it all off with none other than Chief himself, Mr. Eric Church, and his single, Hell of a View.
This ain't for everybody, toes hanging off the ledge, like we got nothing to lose.
Eric is so good at playing this bad boy role in songs about teenage romance. He's done it numerous times, but it simply never gets old. This song just has an energy to it that gets you up off your butt and moving. Eric's voice pairs so well with female backup vocals, and the production of this track is just so awesome. The garage-style drums with those big piano shots and guitars has just such awesome, badass southern rock vibes. Hell of a View is a hell of a time, and while I have the chance, I'd like to say, I want Eric to keep the long hair. Please, he looks like some badass country Elvis, and I frickin' love it. Number 4, I have Little Less Broken by Luke Bryan.
Looks like I'm moving just a little less on with this.
Similar to Sam Hunt, if you told me at the start of the year Luke Bryan would have my 4th favorite song this year, I would call your lying rear end out in an instant. But here we are. Little Less Broken gives off such Let It Roll vibes, which is a good thing if you're me. I'm a massive Midland fan, and this song feels like it easily could have been on their sophomore project. This whole Luke Bryan album is really good. I didn't know Luke Bryan would sound so good over a lushly produced track. very smooth production with the strings and heavy guitars over some light organic percussion. His vocal delivery works so well on this track specifically. It's so catchy. It looks like Luke's moving a little less on with this. The chorus is just so fun to sing along to, and when you pair that with some of the best production you'll get from a big budget project like this, you're bound to get a fantastic outcome. It's podium time. This pick specifically was hard to make because I feel like a lot of people may be annoyed with how high it is on my list, but at the end of the day, I couldn't not have it anywhere outside of my top 5. I've voiced my love for it before. Not many songs are able to change my mood in the best way as fast as this one, and the track I'm referring to is Skeletons by Brothers Osborne.
You got skeletons in your closet, spitting all over your face.
This song is a sonic blast. It starts off so dark and ends so fun. The guitar riff that really sets us into the song is so energizing and exciting. This whole song amps me up. The heavy drums under the heavier guitars that only Brothers Osborne could rip on is such a good time. TJ's voice just works so well. I don't really know what else to say. The depth in his voice paired with John's harmonies just set the tone, and it's a heavy one. I wish this song blew up more than it did, but it is what it is. I love the ever so slight rhythm change in the final chorus before we go on this wavy, extended, funky little outro that feels perfectly long. Not dragged out by any means, but a perfect send-off. It would have been a shame had this song ended so quickly, because at least me personally, I could listen to a 5-minute version of this song with no issues. It's that good, and if you don't know it, give it a listen. Silver medal time. I'm not going to waste your time building suspense. It's Cold by Chris Stapleton.
Why you got to be so cold?
This song is such a musical journey, it drives down every avenue. It starts off so slow, but then the chorus catches you off guard and you're like, oh, we're going there? Chris's voice has the ability to dictate moods and change them at the snap of his fingers. The strings and atmospheric vibe make you feel like you're watching the movie based in the mountains. Cold could easily fit into a cinematic track list because it's just so grand. It's such elegantly powerful music brought to us by country music royalty. The arrangement is so smart, there's never too much going on at once, but whatever is in the lead is able to grab your attention. The best example of this is in the instrumental bridge, where we go on this Blue Rodeo 5 Days in May style electric guitar solo. The climax of this song leaves no stone unturned, and there's just such a filling feeling about this song. It does everything. It's powerful but soft, it's heartbreaking but evil, it's emphatic but shy, it's glorious. Quickly, my honorable mentions. There's so heckin' many. In purple is those that could have cracked my top 20 had it not been for my one song per artist rule, and in black is the remaining honorable mentions. Some I want to highlight are Somebody's Problem by Morgan Wallen and Crooked Teeth by Zach Bryan. The main thing holding these two back from appearing on the list is, like I said earlier, time. They're still fresh off the barbecue. Though I can't see either of them fading on me in the future, I just felt it may be unfair to put such a new song on a list like this. Ain't a Bad Day and One Night Standards are probably the two songs closest to cracking the list with my one per artist rule. And yeah, without further ado, let's hop into my favorite song of 2020. I won't lie, I think the number one spot for my favorite song of the year was the easiest choice. The build up to its release, the nostalgia it makes me feel, the memories of summer it brings me back to, and the incredibly lush and just simply put perfect production combines to make hands down my favorite song of 2020. I know people are going to be annoyed at this, and I'm prepared, so bring it on, traditionalists and people who steer clear of mainstream country. My favorite song of 2020 is 7 Summers by Morgan Wallen.
But I wonder when you're drinking if you find yourself thinking about that boy from East Tennessee. Yeah, I know we both knew better, but we still said forever, and that was 7 summers of cold and southern comfort when we done were just younger, you know.
Oh, what a perfectly smooth song. It's such a well-executed song about young romance. It's teenage summer love recorded and put in a time box opened up in 2020. I love the multiple builds this song has. The verses are present, the chorus builds into this fat, rich, lush, incredibly full sound before stripping back down for the end of the chorus, only to pick right back up, and it does this 3 times, and I love it every single time. Morgan has such a unique voice, and I love it so much. Almost anything he sings I seem to at least sonically enjoy. I also want to point out the music videos Morgan's been putting out. He's almost turning into this country music Michael Jackson, bringing true film back into the world of music videos. It's also because of the music video that the intro of Seven Summers carries an entirely different feel since the release of the song. The smooth riff is played so often in the music video as a transition that's the vibe it gives off now. When I listen to Seven Summers, I feel like the main character of a film, no matter what I'm doing. And that's what good music should do to you. It should make you feel something. It's a combined effort from the story, production, music video, nostalgia, and memories made with this song stuck in my head that equates to Seven Summers taking the crown as my favorite country music song of 2020. So that's it. That is my top 20 favorite songs of 2020. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It's a big relief to have this video out because I feel like there's so much pressure to get it right, and realistically speaking, I think I nailed it. I think this accurately represents my personal country music taste from 2020. People more familiar with the indie scene will realize a lot of these songs are quite mainstream. Reason being, A, mainstream country music had a great year in my opinion, but B, I'm still quite new to the whole indie scene. I've gotten quite deep into the Texas scene over the last few years. I'm getting quite well acquainted with the Appalachian scene, but I still definitely have room to grow. So please, if you have recommendations of more straight dog country artists, DM me on Instagram or throw it in the What's On channel on my Discord server. Both of those links will be in the description below, and I'd be more than excited to give them a listen. On a more serious note, I don't say this much, but I've truly put hours upon hours of work into this specific video. I mean, organizing my thoughts before recording took upwards of 2 hours alone. So I would really appreciate it if you liked the video, share this video around, send it to a friend who may be interested. If you're new, maybe you consider subscribing to my channel. I normally upload once or twice a week, so if you like this video, I think you'd enjoy most of what I do. We've built a great community here on this channel, and I want to thank you all so much. Here's to 2021, but also, don't forget, Albums of the Year is still on its way, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, I think I've said everything I need to say, and yeah, have a great day.